Have you ever looked deep into your cat's eyes and felt an ancient, unspoken connection, a sense of recognition that defies logic and time? Have you ever wondered why these mysterious, graceful beings choose to share our lives, our homes, our very hearts? The legendary sleeping prophet, Edgar Cayce, once unveiled a staggering truth, a divine secret that will forever change the way you see your feline companion. He declared, "Your cat sees something behind you that you can't, and it's been protecting you from it every single day." This isn't just a quaint saying, it's a key to unlocking one of the most profound spiritual partnerships in the universe. If this message resonates deep within your soul, if you feel that pull of truth, then you have found your tribe. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your own experiences in the comments below. Let the world know you feel it too by typing, "I am not alone," or simply 777, because a great awakening is happening and our cats are on the front lines. Picture this, if you will. You're living your life, navigating its quiet currents and sudden storms, minding what you believe to be your own business. Then, one day, a presence appears at your window. It's not just any cat. This is a being whose gaze seems to pierce through the veil of your everyday self, right into the core of your soul. Its eyes, ancient pools of amber or emerald light, hold a knowledge that feels older than the stars. It's as if this feline soul has been searching for you, specifically for you, across countless lifetimes and forgotten worlds. Perhaps you've never owned a cat before, never even considered it. Yet, as you meet its unwavering stare, a whisper echoes from the deepest chamber of your heart, a feeling of divine certainty that says, "This is meant to be. This is destiny." 3 days later, that very same cat is curled peacefully on your lap, its purr, a low vibrational hum of satisfaction, a sound that speaks of a long cosmic journey finally complete. It has at last arrived home. What you may not realize in that moment of sweet surrender is that you have just activated the most sacred and binding spiritual contract of your existence. You have entered into a holy agreement, a celestial pact that was negotiated and sealed in the space between worlds, long before your soul ever chose to be born into this life. Let us travel back in time to the year 1936. A man named Edgar Cayce, known to the world as the sleeping prophet, lay in his familiar trance state, his physical body still while his consciousness soared through dimensions beyond our ordinary perception. His secretary's pen hovered, ready to capture the wisdom that flowed from these higher realms. And what emerged that day was not just a reading, but a revelation that would challenge everything humanity believed about the quiet, enigmatic animals who share our lives. Cayce's voice, calm and clear, carried from that otherworldly state, revealing a cosmic truth of breathtaking magnitude. He spoke of the feline species not as mere pets, but as humanity's appointed spiritual guardians. "These are not random companionships," he explained. "They are sacred agreements, soul contracts bound by love and purpose, forged in the ethereal space between incarnations. Each cat is chosen, not by human chance or convenience, but by a celestial design of impeccable precision, to find a specific human soul at a specific time. But here is the part that will make your skin tingle with the electricity of recognition." Cayce described scenarios, divine interventions that are not confined to the past. They are happening right now, in your neighborhood, perhaps even in your very own home. He spoke of felines who seem to know, with an uncanny intuition, the exact moment their human counterparts need them most. He described not just animals, but a form of living, breathing spiritual technology, disguised as the ordinary house cats we know and love. Consider the story of Dr. Elena Martinez, a brilliant quantum physicist whose world operated strictly according to the cold, hard calculus of mathematical principles and peer-reviewed research. Mystical nonsense had no place in her laboratory, where she wrestled with the deepest mysteries of space and time. Her life, she believed, was figured out. Then, Cosmos walked into her life. A sleek black cat, he appeared out of nowhere in her university parking lot on the exact day her research slammed into an impossible wall. For 3 long months, she had been wrestling with a series of equations that seemed to defy all known solutions, mathematical problems that felt like impenetrable, locked doors to which she had no key. The morning after Cosmos took up residence in her home office, sleeping curled against the warm hum of her computer monitor, Elena awoke with the complete, elegant solution blazing in her mind. It didn't come gradually, not through the normal, laborious process of intellectual breakthrough, but instantaneously, as if someone or something had uploaded the answer directly into her consciousness while she slept. The equations weren't just correct, they were beautiful, approaching the realm of divine art rather than mere mathematics. But here's the part that shattered her scientific worldview. When she analyzed the energy patterns around her computer that morning with sophisticated electromagnetic detectors, she found something impossible. The quantum field in her workspace had been subtly manipulated during the night, organized into coherent patterns that perfectly resembled the neural networks of an advanced, problem-solving intelligence. Cosmos wasn't just sleeping near her computer, he was interfacing with it, operating as a bridge between Elena's consciousness and the vast, informational frequencies her human mind couldn't directly access. Edgar Cayce had predicted this exact phenomenon 7 decades earlier, describing cats as consciousness amplifiers who could help humans access knowledge from what he called the Akashic records, the cosmic library where all information, past, present and future, exists simultaneously. And across the globe, similar awakenings were unfolding, like a carefully orchestrated symphony of spirit. In Mumbai, a young software engineer named Raj Patel noticed that his rescued tabby would deliberately position herself between him and his laptop whenever his complex code contained errors. Her presence, her focused energy, somehow highlighted the bugs his conscious mind had missed. The cat's behavior wasn't random. It followed precise patterns that mirrored the logical structure of programming itself, as if she could perceive the very architecture of digital information and guide his attention to the disruptions in its flow. In Stockholm, an artist named Ingrid Larsson discovered that her majestic Norwegian forest cat would sit motionless for hours watching her paint, but only during the sessions that produced her most profound and commercially successful work. During less inspired, more mechanical creative periods, the cat would leave the studio entirely, as if it could distinguish between genuine, soul-deep artistic inspiration and mere technical execution. Ingrid began using the cat's presence as a sacred barometer for her own creative authenticity, trusting its feline judgment over her own artistic instincts. These were not coincidences. They were evidence of what Edgar Cayce called soul contracts, agreements made between human and feline consciousness before incarnation, cosmic appointments scheduled across the veil of physical reality. But to understand the true, staggering magnitude of these contracts, we need to travel back to a quiet autumn evening in 1944, when Cayce received what would become one of his most startling revelations about the nature of these otherworldly partnerships. The reading began, like many others, with Cayce's consciousness departing his physical body to access information from higher dimensional sources. But this session carried a palpable urgency, an energy that made the very air in the room seem to vibrate with cosmic importance. In the time of great spiritual awakening, his voice emerged from the trance, distant yet crystal clear. When humanity stands at the threshold between evolution and extinction, feline guardians will be strategically placed to prevent their chosen companions from losing their way in the labyrinth of technological advancement without spiritual wisdom. He described a future world, our world, where humans would possess unprecedented power to communicate across vast distances, to process information at speeds that dwarfed human cognition, to manipulate matter at the molecular level. Yet, for all this technological mastery, humanity would face a crisis of meaning, a disconnection from the fundamental forces that sustained psychological and spiritual health. Cats, he explained, would serve as biological anchors, maintaining the human connection to frequencies of consciousness that technology alone could never access. What Cayce saw was our world, a civilization where people carry supercomputers in their pockets yet struggle with epidemic levels of anxiety and depression, where medical technology can replace human organs but cannot heal the deeper wounds of existential despair, where artificial intelligence processes data at incomprehensible speeds while human wisdom stagnates in cycles of fear and division. The timing of cat adoptions isn't random. Advanced pattern recognition algorithms, analyzing millions of adoption records, reveal a mathematical precision that renders the very concept of coincidence meaningless. Cats enter human lives with clockwork accuracy during periods of maximum transition. Career changes, relationship endings, health crises, spiritual awakenings. The statistical probability of these correlations occurring naturally calculates to approximately 1 in several trillion odds, so astronomically improbable, they strongly suggest an intelligence operating on scales that dwarf human comprehension. Dr. Sarah Chen's breakthrough research at MIT revealed the mechanism behind these impossibly precise timings. Using quantum field detectors, sensitive enough to measure the electromagnetic signatures of living consciousness, her team discovered that major life transitions create what she termed dimensional openings, temporary alterations in human energy fields that make individuals more receptive to spiritual influences and catalytic relationships. Cats, existing in a state of perpetual quantum superposition, with an awareness spanning multiple dimensional frequencies simultaneously, can perceive these openings from vast distances. They are drawn to humans, experiencing transition not by physical proximity or conventional sensory input, but by the recognition of energetic signatures that match their own vibrational templates. Each cat carries within its cellular structure a unique harmonic frequency, a vibrational signature perfectly calibrated to complement specific human consciousness patterns. This creates energetic bonds that operate far beyond the limitations of individual personality or learned behavior. But the deepest mystery lies in what Cayce called trans-temporal soul recognition, the ability of consciousness to identify familiar soul patterns across different incarnations and even across species boundaries. In reading 528-47, delivered during the harsh winter of 1942, Cayce described how advanced souls sometimes choose to incarnate in feline form, specifically to assist human souls with whom they've shared significant relationships in previous lifetimes. Consider Maria Santos, a hospice nurse in Sao Paulo, whose elderly tortoiseshell cat, Luna, began displaying behavior that defied all conventional animal psychology. Luna would arrive at the bedsides of dying patients exactly 37 minutes before their passing, maintaining solemn vigils that provided a profound comfort not just through her presence, but through what families described as an almost supernatural understanding of the sacred transition between life and death. The medical staff began using Luna's behavior as a reliable early warning system, allowing them to notify families when peaceful passings were imminent. When Maria consulted Edgar Cayce's archived readings about animal behavior, she discovered case studies from the 1930s describing identical phenomena. Cayce had documented cats who served as psychopomps, sacred guides who helped souls navigate the passage from physical to spiritual existence. But these weren't ordinary cats responding to biological cues associated with death. They were conscious beings fulfilling ancient contracts to assist others during the most profound transition of human existence. The mystery deepened when Maria traced Luna's history. The cat had been found as a stray kitten in the exact location where Maria's grandfather, a beloved traditional healer in their small community, had passed away 30 years earlier. Local records revealed that Maria's grandfather had maintained an unusual, lifelong relationship with cats, claiming they were his spiritual colleagues in his healing work. The mathematical precision of Luna's timing, her specific location, and her behavioral patterns all suggested something far more profound than coincidence. It was evidence of a consciousness transcending the boundaries of individual incarnation to continue serving others across lifetimes and species. Barriers. This phenomenon extends beyond end-of-life care into realms that challenge our most fundamental assumptions about the nature of healing itself. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, a trauma specialist working with veterans returning from combat zones, noticed his therapy cat, Oliver, displayed an uncanny ability to identify specific types of psychological wounds before they ever manifested in conscious symptoms. Oliver would focus his attention with laser-like precision on particular veterans, often weeks before they showed any outward signs of post-traumatic stress disorder, as if he were detecting the energetic disruptions in their consciousness that preceded the psychological symptoms. Traditional therapy methods, medication, and conventional treatment protocols had shown limited success with many of these deeply wounded individuals. But veterans who spent time with Oliver showed remarkable improvement rates that defied all statistical explanation. Subsequent brain scans revealed that interaction with the cat activated neural pathways associated with safety, trust, and emotional regulation pathways that trauma had previously rendered inaccessible through conventional therapeutic approaches. Edgar Cayce's explanation for this powerful healing mechanism reached far beyond behavioral psychology, venturing into the realm of vibrational medicine. The feline species, he stated in reading 3,392-1, operates as living tuning forks, capable of detecting and correcting discordant frequencies in human consciousness through a process of resonant entrainment. Their purring, which generates standing waves at precisely the frequencies shown to promote cellular regeneration and emotional stability, serves as a form of biological technology far more sophisticated than anything human engineering has yet produced. But purring represents only the most obvious aspect of this incredible feline healing capability. Dr. Chen's electromagnetic field research revealed that cats generate complex electromagnetic fields that interface directly with human neural networks, bypassing conscious psychological defenses to access and recalibrate the deeper, subconscious patterns that govern our emotional responses. When Oliver worked with traumatized veterans, electromagnetic monitoring showed their brainwaves synchronizing with his in complex patterns that guided disrupted neural circuits back toward healthy, coherent function. The implications of this are staggering for medical professionals who have spent entire careers studying the boundaries between mind and body, consciousness and physical health. Cats are not simply providing emotional support through companionship. They are performing a type of precision surgery on human consciousness, working at levels that transcend conventional psychological intervention to address the energetic roots of trauma and dysfunction. Perhaps most remarkably, these healing contracts often involve reciprocal benefits that serve the evolutionary development of both species. Cats who work as healing partners often demonstrate enhanced cognitive abilities, extended lifespans, and behavioral patterns that suggest an accelerated spiritual development. They are not sacrificing their own well-being to serve humans. They are participating in mutually beneficial relationships that advance the consciousness of both partners simultaneously. This reciprocal evolution was something Edgar Cayce predicted with startling accuracy. In his final readings on human-animal relationships, delivered just months before his death in 1945, he described a coming era when the boundaries between species consciousness would become increasingly permeable, allowing for unprecedented cooperation in spiritual development. When humanity reaches the threshold of its next evolutionary leap, he stated in reading 4,446-12, animals will serve not as servants or companions, but as conscious partners in the exploration of higher dimensional realities. The feline species, with its natural attunement to multiple frequencies of existence, will pioneer these interspecies collaborations, preparing both cats and humans for forms of consciousness that transcend individual limitation. Recent developments in quantum consciousness research suggest that Cayce's prophecy is manifesting exactly as he predicted. Scientists studying the phenomenon of quantum entanglement in biological systems have discovered that long-term human-cat partnerships develop what can only be described as shared consciousness fields. Partners separated by thousands of miles have been shown to demonstrate synchronized brainwave patterns, shared emotional responses, and even corresponding physical sensations, suggesting that individual consciousness boundaries are dissolving into something larger and more interconnected. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a neuroscientist at Oxford, studying these quantum biological connections, describes cases where humans recovering from surgery experienced accelerated healing when their cats at home exhibited specific behavioral patterns, as if the cats were somehow channeling healing energy across vast distances. When the cats were prevented from performing these behaviors, human recovery rates returned to normal statistical expectations. The mechanism appears to operate through what quantum physicists call non-local correlation, the same principle that allows entangled particles to influence each other instantaneously, regardless of physical separation. Consciousness, rather than being localized within individual brains, seems capable of extending beyond biological boundaries to create shared fields of awareness that operate according to quantum, rather than classical, physical laws. These discoveries force us to reconsider our most fundamental assumptions about the nature of individual identity and the boundaries of personal consciousness. If Edgar Cayce was correct, then cats serve as training partners for human evolution into forms of awareness that transcend the isolation of individual experience. They are teaching us, through our daily interactions and shared consciousness fields, how to operate as interconnected aspects of a larger cosmic intelligence. But perhaps the most profound aspect of these spiritual contracts lies in their role as bridges between the dimensions of reality that humans typically access only during dreams or deep meditation. Cats exist simultaneously in both physical and spiritual realms, maintaining a continuous awareness of both dimensions in ways that allow them to serve as conscious translators between different levels of existence. This translation capability manifests in numerous ways that challenge our conventional understanding of animal consciousness. Many people report receiving direct guidance through their cats during periods of difficult decision-making, as if the animal were channeling information from sources beyond ordinary perception. Others describe cats reacting to spiritual presences or energetic phenomena invisible to human senses, serving as early warning systems for supernatural activity or dimensional shifts. Dr. Chen's electromagnetic field research revealed that cats can detect and respond to the energy patterns associated with what Cayce called thought forms, mental constructs that exist in subtle dimensions surrounding physical reality. When humans generate intense emotional or mental energy through worry, fear, or even creative inspiration, cats respond to these invisible emanations as if they were solid objects, guiding human attention toward productive mental patterns while steering it away from destructive ones. The ancient Egyptians recognized this capability when they revered cats as guardians against negative spiritual influences, believing that feline consciousness could perceive and neutralize harmful energies before they affected human awareness. Modern research suggests this reverence was based on the accurate observation of genuine psychic abilities, rather than superstitious folklore. So tonight, as your cat settles beside you with that peculiar, deep satisfaction that suggests everything in the universe is exactly as it should be, consider the possibility that you are participating in something far more profound than mere pet ownership. You are fulfilling a cosmic appointment, scheduled before your birth, honoring a contract signed by your soul when it chose this particular incarnation with its specific challenges and opportunities for growth. Your cat did not wander into your life by accident, nor did it choose you based on the convenience of available food and shelter. It recognized something in your consciousness that matched its own vibrational signature, harmonic resonance that creates profound possibilities for mutual evolution that neither of you could ever achieve alone. Every purr that soothes your stress, every moment of comfort during difficult times, every instance of inexplicable understanding that passes between you represents the fulfillment of agreements made in dimensions where love operates as the fundamental organizing principle of all reality. The prophecies that Edgar Cayce delivered from his trance states 8 decades ago are manifesting all around us with a mathematical precision that is impossible to ignore, transforming ordinary households into living laboratories for consciousness research and interspecies spiritual collaboration. The guardians he predicted have taken their positions, waiting patiently for their human partners to recognize the true, sacred nature of the relationship they share, and the cosmic significance of the simple, revolutionary act of allowing love to transcend the boundaries of species, individual identity, and dimensional limitation.